Welcome to Love and Health Talk, the podcast where we explore two vital aspects of our lives, love and health. I'm Annabelle, a therapist and relationship coach.
And I'm Laura, a health and wellness expert. Join us as we delve into topics related to relationships and well-being.
We'll provide practical tips and insights on nurturing, thriving connections.
And we will discuss various aspects of health.
Tune in for expert advice and actionable strategies to enhance your love life and well-being.
Love and Health Talk, where love and health meet for a fulfilling life.
Hey guys, welcome to Love and Health Talks. I'm your host, Annabelle.
And I'm your host, Laura.
And we just want to start off the podcast with just introducing a little bit about ourselves and letting you know what is going to come next with this.
Yeah, so I think we should go ahead and start, right? And probably the first thing that we're going to do to introduce ourselves.
Absolutely. So, did you want to start first?
Yeah, absolutely. I can do that. So, welcome again. My name is Laura, and I'm a holistic medicine expert, as you Annabelle know. So basically, my practice is combination of Western, Eastern medicine, quantum physics, and psychology. That's the field that I'm doing as an expert in. So right now, currently, I'm studying PhD of integrative and natural medicine. Like I'm gonna have a bachelor and master's in holistic medicine too. So I'm that crazy person who loves to study all the time. But as I tend to say, like I think that in the field that I'm in, I have to study continuously because like everything is changes so fast. So I have to keep up with the knowledge. So it's me. I'm doing electrodermal screening too. Like I'm helping people to find the actual cause of the symptom that they're experiencing and how to treat that naturally, how to find a way, like holistic way to actually create some health. And my practice is called Whole You because I think that we cannot separate our physical bodies, emotional bodies, mental bodies. I think we should treat person as a whole, like even talking about like different parts of the body. I think that a whole person is an idea, and I want to work with the whole person and help the whole person, not only the part of the person. So this is exactly what I do. And yeah, I think that my knowledge and your knowledge could be a great combination, you know?
Yeah. And I think, if any of you guys have seen us in the workshop or just heard a little bit about us, the thing that really connects us is the focus on the body.
Yeah.
I'm a clinical therapist and I'm also a relationship coach. And I really help people who are struggling in their relationships, whether it's because they had past trauma, they're currently experiencing fights with their partners or conflict that they don't feel like they can resolve on their own. I also have clients who are dating and are struggling because they either are dating the same person or they're noticing that every time they get into a relationship, there's a lot of anxiety and a lot of just difficulty that comes up. And so by helping them really heal that trauma through EMDR and somatic practices, which we'll definitely get into what that means, what that looks like.
We definitely will, because we need more understanding on that.
Yes. So just delving into that. But that's really how I help clients treat the trauma. Is by going internally into the body and allowing them to process that. Because what happens a lot of the times is that when we experience trauma, it gets stuck in the body. Right. And this is where symptoms like anxiety, depression, chronic illness really start to manifest. And through that, I'm also teaching them how to change their attachment styles. We'll get into that too. Where we're really taking a framework that was created by a psychologist, where he started to see the interactions between the mother and the child and how that ends up showing up in your adult relationship. And so by looking at these different styles of attachment in your relationships, we can really start to create a life that you want. And a relationship that feels healthy, fulfilling, and happy. Because at the end of the day, when we have healthy relationships, we have a healthy life. Like you're able to start that business or create those goals or go back to school.
Absolutely.
Like it really
relationships is something that plays like the main role in our lives. Like we might not notice that, and we're not also like talking about like male and female, like or whatever kind of like romantic relationship. Like we talking about relationships in general, right?
Yes. And first off, the relationship with yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
Because when we think about when we think about showing up, if you do not feel connected to yourself, and you can definitely talk about like how physical illness
Yeah.
impacts your ability to like feel
Oh,
good in
absolutely.
your body.
We will go into that.
Right? Yes.
I think
And so these are future episodes that
Yeah.
we really want to cover, because when we talk about relationship and health, it really is like the core of like humanism.
absolutely. Like that's why we kind of decided to do that, because like
Yeah.
what did we notice that we talking about like such big things with
Mhm.
animals all the time? And we're like, okay, we have to record it. Like to listen to it.
Yes.
So that's when we decided to do that. But I think the interesting thing could be, could you tell people a little bit more, like how did you decide to get into this field? Like how did you get here? Like, you know?
Yeah, so my story is a little complicated in terms of there were things going on in my childhood that I wasn't aware of at that time. What I came to realize as an adult was that these experiences as a child really shaped who I ended up becoming. And I guess the biggest challenge that I had to overcome was being in a really abusive relationship. He was really controlling. He was jealous of other people and who I would talk to. There was just this constant need for, what are you doing? Who are you with? You can't
Yeah.
do that. And that pressure of having to always fulfill this person made me lose myself. I didn't know who I had zero identity. My entire identity was based in that relationship. And so when that relationship finally ended, I was broken. My confidence, my ability to trust in myself, my ability to trust in others, it was absolutely destroyed. And the one thing that really kept me, I guess, sane and like gave me a sense of direction was school.
Okay.
And so I stayed in school. My parents always encouraged, like, make sure you finish school. Like,
Oh, yeah.
from coming from a Hispanic background, that was the one thing that they really wanted me to fulfill and like achieve. And so when I was in school, I got really interested in social work. And in social work, when I was studying social work, someone actually gave me a book. This is kind of what ended up changing my mindset and really recognizing like, oh, wait, I can help myself.
Yeah.
And if I can help myself, I can help others. And it really became this almost obsession with wanting to help people, not knowing at the time that I was actually doing it so that I can help myself.
Yeah.
Right. And now, as a therapist and learning about relationships and what ended up happening to me, I'm able to now teach other women to not lose themselves in relationships and really show up authentically.
Yeah. That's my story.
Yeah.
I think I haven't heard
Okay.
that.
Yes.
So,
That is
yeah.
me. What about you? What brought you into this field, and where does this passion come from?
Yeah, like when I was in school, like in a high school, I always had two ideas. Like I'm gonna go and study like a healthcare like medicine field, or I'm gonna go and study math, because I'm super into math, like statistical analysis and stuff. So I worked with statistic researchers and stuff like that, like scientific stuff back in Europe. So I still have that part in me. Like I still love math and statistics, so I love it.
Who loves math? Like, where did this come from?
I have no idea. Like this is what my parents tend to tell me, like, where are you from? Because like they're so different. They're
Yeah.
like, who are you? You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, but I ended up going to like medical university. And I always knew that I want to help people, you know, and I was so passionate about my studies and everything. Like, yeah, like the things as anatomy, like physiology, like biochemistry, that was like my like, damn, I'm here. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I love it. So I love that all the time. But I think I'm just understanding that right now. Like I didn't understand that before, but I think my own health problems and issues actually lead me there. Like I think so right now. So yeah, I was like super skeptical person, you know, like as everyone, like, oh, this is Western medicine, this is what my teacher told me, and this is how it is. Like that's it. If someone would even start talking with me about like, I don't know, like chakras, Reiki or something, I was like, okay, like, you know, I was that kind of person. Like sadly, I have to admit that I was that kind of person.
Yeah.
Like I was super skeptical, nothing more body is a machine, chemical machine. That's it.
Which makes sense because if you loved math, for you, things needed to add up. And
Yeah.
sometimes those things don't add up
Yeah.
entirely.
So yeah. But I had a lot of health issues like during my studies, and since I remember myself, like I was that like I don't know, like find a kind of symptom, you name it, I bet I had it. Like, you know, like that was part of like physical body, that was part probably of the mental body, you know, there was a lot of different things, but how everything changed, like at that period of time, I had a lot of I think I told you that I have like crazy migraine, like UTIs. Like I was not able to like I reached the point where I thought that okay, I have to stop studying. Like I have to stop going to my practice. I work with the oncological patient then. Like I work with like cancer and stuff like that. And I reached the point where I felt the way that I gotta stop this. Because I'm not able to do that because all I wanted to do is lay in the bath, try to reduce symptoms a little bit. And I was starting to go to like doctors, you know, and once you work in that field, like you are able to reach any kind of doctor you want, like you have colleagues in it, like, you know, people. So I started going, and the thing that they started providing me, like, there was like, oh, we can try this or that, and this and this and that. So I just started to like putting different medicine into me, like put, but nothing really helped. Like, you know, nothing really helped. And I reached the point where I always had that question in my head spinning, like, how does that work? If I'm seeing the patient, or if the doctor's seeing the patient every 2 weeks or every month, and nothing changes, just prescribe something isn't working. And I actually asked this question when I was on my master's. Like we had a like very good teacher, she's MD and everything. And I asked her, like, if you see the same client over and over again, what you actually doing?
Yeah.
And the answer was, you shouldn't think about that. And I got back home and I thought like, damn, but that's exactly what I should think about. Like, you know? So yeah, and then on that time, like my health was falling apart, and my boyfriend, he like kind of like carefully tried like, oh, let's try some alternatives, you know, like there's alternative medicine part, like there's like
he's like, this ain't working for you.
And I'm like, how dare you, you know? I'm like, I'm not gonna believe in that thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of reached the point where I'm like, okay, I have nothing to lose, so I'll try that. So I went to the practitioner back in Europe, and when I started to see that things changing in like 2 weeks, I'm like, okay, there's something there. Like there is something, and I want to know more, you know? So of course I started like studying that, like I started to understand like, okay, what's going on there? Like I tried not to lose like my skepticism and everything.
Yeah.
But I started noticing like, okay, there's something more. Like there's something more. So yeah, then I decided, when it helped me in 2 weeks, I decided this is what I want to do for people. Like I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to wear like white coat and because you know, no, I want to actually help.
Yeah.
And, like I know that part of me, like that was a huge shift in my like identity in general, because I got to accept like, okay, there's something more. Like there's some like your belief system is like you overgrow it. That's it. So then I noticed that, okay, but if I want to do that, I have to learn like basics at least of Eastern medicine. Then I started to learning like homeopathy, Eastern medicine. I started psychology, like from London Institute. Like I started to psychology and counseling. Then I added like, okay, I have to learn quantum physics. So right now I'm adding like integrative medicine and stuff like, because I believe that you have to.
That's amazing.
Like, as I always telling, like, if you want to be objective, you have to have knowledge from different fields. Because like, think about it. You go to acupuncturist, he's gonna tell you, oh, acupuncture is the best way. You go to energy healer, he's gonna say the same. Go to Western medicine doctor, he's gonna offer you a pill or surgery. And there is no way to blame them for that. No, you choose where you go.
Right. And I think you allowing yourself to explore these other options, even though it did feel like, well, I need to at this point because this isn't working. You're giving your body different tools at that time. That's what you needed.
Girl, like I started to learn in languages. Like when I decided to learn that, I had to learn in languages that I don't know. For example, German language. Like I know Russian. Like I don't know German language. I translated every single word, like from the textbooks and everything. Like that was like, I'm studying, like I'm gonna know this thing. Like I don't care. Like the world can end right now, but I'm not gonna leave this like that. Yeah. So, and I don't trust in things like super quickly. So I reached out like the creators of like different like quantum physics built machines, like in Moscow, in London, in Paris, in Berlin, like you name it.
Yeah.
Like I know the last names and everything, who does what in these countries, because this is how I go about things.
Mhm.
Like it's not gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna know the surface. No, I don't
Yeah.
want surface. Like I don't want that anymore. So I had to relearn some things from Western medicine. I had to add Eastern medicine, psychology, quantum physics, like, and I'm learning all the time.
Yeah.
So right now, basically, like, yeah, I'm super happy about the things that I do because I know how we can achieve like how fast and how happy I can make my clients feel, how healthy I can make them feel. Like, and I can help them. Like the
Yeah.
work is, it's not me, like it's them, it's the body, it's like whoever, you name it. But
Yeah.
like I'm happy that I can help.
Yeah. No, and I think that's one of the most beautiful things any practitioner or any provider or any coach, therapist, to have that ability to say, hey, I understand what you're going through, but let's look at all these different ways to really like resource
And
you.
you know, like with practitioners, like with every kind of like expert in their field, like what I think we should understand, like my abilities are limited in some fields, your abilities are limited in other fields, and we should embrace that. Oh, damn, okay, now I'm gonna refer you to someone else, maybe
Yeah.
this is kind of help you need right now.
Yeah.
Like, so this is what I think a lot of like we have to bring some awareness into that, because a lot of people try to keep their clients or whatever. So
Absolutely.
it's
Absolutely. I mean, same when it comes to like, at least in the mental health field, a lot of clients who end up suffering with whether it be anxiety, depression, bipolar symptoms, any chronic mental illness, people end up prescribing medication for it. They see that that's the
we
only
definitely
sense of
gonna have an
treatment.
episode
Right.
for like mental health like disorders, right?
Absolutely.
And you know, actually I love the term like brain health, like that mental health thing. It's like, yeah, everyone understands what are we talking about when we say
Yeah.
like mental health, but like I love that name, like brain health.
I heard that the other day, and I think that that is absolutely
Yeah.
amazing. But what I was saying with the medication portion of it is, I'm a really big fan of using like behavioral and like mindset shifts before integrating medication. Now, that's not to say that some people don't need that or have a sense of dependence on it that has helped them achieve a level of normality or just a level where they feel really good about themselves. But that's a big thing for me. And so the fact that for you, you ended up trying out these non-traditional methods
Yeah.
to help you is something that I'm just really, really grateful for me, because it was in these tools that I now teach that have made the biggest difference for me. We
You
can
know?
talk about
Mhm.
things all day. Like I remember the first time I went to therapy, yes, it was really helpful to like vent it out and get everything out. I felt like there was like this huge lump in my throat that could not be
Yeah.
released. So talking about it was helpful, but as I continued on in challenges with life or in my relationships or even like current like job stressors, right? Like if I didn't have these specific tools that my body and my mind can use, then there wasn't any healing going on.
Yeah.
Right. And you actually talked about this today of like, we know we're healing when we do things differently.
Like you
Because
kind of noticing like different behaviors, like different
Yes.
patterns, and you're like, okay, there was a switch, and
Yeah, like this thing that used to bother me a year ago doesn't actually like mess with my mind so
Yeah,
much. I'm
like, I
able
was-
to overcome that a lot quicker than I
Yeah.
did before.
I had a not very pleasant conversation like this week, like a few days ago. And like I noticed that the way that I like reacting, and I'm thinking like, if would be happening a year or 2 years ago, the way I show up would be like
Yes.
absolute
Yes.
360. Like,
Yes.
so like I'm having this conversation, you know, but I'm in my head thinking, okay, Laura, you growing. Cool.
Yeah, no, it's mind blowing, and it really creates a sense of like, okay, I can do this, right? Because here's the thing, and I always tell my clients this of like, there's we can't take away those negative experiences like anxiety, depression, anger. Like you're gonna have a reaction or you're
Yeah.
gonna have a response to it, but how long are you gonna stay in that response? And I read this thing where it talked about how like you choosing to stay in a certain response, that's suffering. Like you're actually suffering. And for a lot of us, and this is what ends up creating like that choice of like, I need to go seek help,
Yeah.
or I need to go find a therapist or a practitioner, is like we are stuck in suffering. Like it's a crisis that people cannot come out of.
Yeah.
And that's the time that they actually end up looking for help. But yeah, if you're not seeing changes in your life, you are in active suffering. This is why things feel so dark, negative, hopeless,
True.
right?
So yeah, I believe we definitely gonna have like episodes about different fields, you know, like we tried to talk about it today with Annabelle, and we saw like we have so many topics. Like
There's just so much.
Yeah.
There's so many good stuff.
yeah, so I think today like we're not gonna tease about the episodes no more, like, because we definitely gonna have like mental health, medication part, like quantum physics, chemical part of the body, like chemical part of your mental health, physics part of your mental health. Like we're gonna talk about everything.
Yeah.
Because that's why we named it like love and health talks, because
Yeah.
we want to keep this kind of style, the way we talking, because I believe the way that we talk and the topics that we cover like we help to understand for each other.
Yeah.
Like that can create a lot of benefits for other people to hear.
Yeah, and like this is such a great combination, because even though we're going to be talking about like healthy relationships and conflicts that come up with your parents, or boundary setting, or even self-care, like we have this amazing resource that is sitting right next to me, where she's going to give us like the science, the why behind everything, which I think is going to be so powerful to really embody
Yeah.
all of it. Because yes, there is that social side, but there's also a physical side. Like recently, I went through like a stage of just some physical challenges where I was feeling really tired. I didn't have a lot of energy, and I had to dig deep into the physical stuff, because my mind, I was not able to change my physical with my mind, and usually I am, right? I'm a therapist. I have all of these mental tools, but for some reason that those chemicals were missing, and so like moving more and spiking my dopamine with like healthy tools, and really focusing on my brain functioning has been a game changer. And it's always a lesson to me of like, we cannot leave out one or the other. And we,
Yeah.
I mean, we're not talking about the spiritual stuff either, but that's another component. That's why the mind, the body, and the spirit are so
Like, you know,
important
I
to
love
recognize.
that I love that explanation that I usually go about. It's like we have different bodies, you know, it's not separable. Like we have
Yes.
physical body, we have emotional or vital body, someone calls it vital. We have mental body, supramental body, and bliss body. Like bliss would be that spiritual side, as you said. But we have these bodies and we cannot separate one like or another. Like everything is important, but and then we definitely go into some episodes about like where should be the start, like you know how we
Yeah.
should start and stuff like that. But for now, I think like we can end like this episode here, because there's a lot of topics and we're gonna dive
Mhm.
into all of them
Yes.
eventually. But yeah,
Amazing. Yeah. So this concludes the love and health talks. And yeah, excited for what's to come.
how long it was. Okay.